Welcome to In the Know. Jeremy and I are back. We're going to discuss the Pelicans preseason now that it is over. Tune in.
Yes.
The New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
And Holiday, the dribble penetration. So tough going to the goal.
Welcome to In the Know. Jeremy, sorry I cut you off there. You're saying something. How are you? How's it going? What's up, man?
I'm fine. My antenna is fine. Was able to do the thing.
The
I'm
antenna
team
worked.
antenna. I don't know. I was actually at work, but it worked last year, so I have no issue. I don't see why it wouldn't work this year.
Oh, it worked for me. I had it plugged up. I had it plugged up to the projector. You know what? I was scrolling through my usual methods, and I was like, you know what? This game's actually on the antenna. Let me get a spin. And sure enough, it was on the antenna. Our friend, the homie Andrew Lopez, making his debut
Yeah, the
uh,
sideline
as
reporter was happening.
as the Pelicans sideline reporter. That was very cool to watch. Excited to see what he's gonna do for us this year. It's gonna be awesome. But the Pelicans have concluded their preseason with losses in Miami and Houston. The Miami game was close, went to the wire, 2-point game. Pelicans took a three at the end. Didn't want to risk
Yes,
overtime.
yes. No overtime overtime in preseason. Best way
Let's
to
uh let's talk
go.
about that game very briefly here. For listeners, we did record something that just technical difficulties got in our way. So we are going to no, let's
No,
not
no,
do.
no, no, no,
Anyways, we're
no,
gonna
no,
we're gonna
no.
rehash.
We can talk about it. Hey, don't record podcasts where a whole bunch of deer and not a lot of cell phone service.
Enjoy the deer. That's what I'm saying. Pelicans out in the where the nature is. No. Anyways, the Pelicans lost by 2 points that Miami game. It was rather uneventful.
Yeah,
I would say the Pelicans look like they had a Saturday night in Miami.
yes. But to be fair, so did Jimmy Butler. You know who didn't act like he had a Saturday night in Miami? Yves Missi. He might be the man of the weekend. Um,
Yves Missi threw a block party in Miami, four quick
yes,
blocks
yes.
in what, like 13 minutes or whatever the number was. Just was anything that the Miami players are putting up, he was really
It was making it
getting
for
after
himself.
it.
So,
And I think we're going to talk a lot about Messi, especially after tonight and
yes,
what he
sir.
did. Um, but let me just quickly hit on a couple of the main points in the Miami game before we talk about the Houston game, which I think is more relevant, more new, more important, and I think just more stuff to talk about there. The Brandon Ingram did not play in Miami, much to the chagrin of everybody, which is what it is. And the Pelicans lost the opportunity to see what their starters might look like or who their starters might be. Zion had a decent game. He was going maybe 50%
Yeah.
effort, care. Still, was productive, was
13
relatively
points on 10
efficient.
shots and still
Yeah,
had I think he had a block, a steal as well, and a couple rebounds, despite going 50%, like you said.
yeah, 50%. CJ getting up a ton of threes. I think 8 of his 11 shots were threes. Not many really went in, but we're okay with the general looks that CJ had.
Yep.
Dejounte found some footing, was a little bit more aggressive offensively. Again, the passing, he attempted lobs.
And we're gonna have success in another game we talk about. Yes. See the smile? You see the smile? Oh man.
Yeah. The Miami game was a lot of nothing. I thought the starters didn't really look great. I don't think they really cared for
Yeah.
it. The
Yeah.
bench was my main takeaway from the bench was Mr. Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Sir, not sure you belong in the Pelicans rotation. I hope you find some kind of success in whatever you're doing, but man, that is those are
We
minutes that I hope we don't see in the regular season.
were happy that you're living your dream, sir. We are happy that you're living your dream. Everyone can't work what they want to do, and for that we appreciate you living your dream.
Shout out, Jerry. Let's move on to the Houston game, where I
Yep.
think there was a few more important things. So obviously, this game broadcast over the air to your antennas. Hopefully, a lot of folks watched it.
Yep.
Uh, Before the game started, Willie Green had a press conference, and he said Zion Williamson isn't playing because he was asking about, oh, are you excited to finally get a look at some of these lineups? He's like, well, get a look at a lineup
A
that we
lineup.
haven't seen before.
Oh man, like
And he said,
we want to see it, and we're just not gonna see it. It's gonna be a mystery until opening day. We'll all find out together as a family.
right. He did go on to say Zion is completely healthy, and
Yes.
something about working together and decided this is yeah. To me, whenever they use that uh terminology, it's someone calling in for PTO.
Yes. Yeah. And watching around the league, some teams took the day as a dress rehearsal. I'm looking at you, Kings, looking at you a little bit, Rockets. And some teams decided that we're going to give people off. Looking at you, Lakers. You did not care when you were playing the Warriors tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. So Zion didn't play. Brandon returned to the starting lineup, and he had a productive game. He
Yes.
was efficient. He took his middies. He took a few threes. Um, he was the Pelicans' best player on the court. I think that is not a questionable statement. He had 18 points, 7 of 13 shooting, 2 or 3 from three, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 1 turnover. So all in all, a solid outing for Mr. Ingram. What were your
Yep.
biggest takeaways from his game?
This newbie out there talking about. Is he going to debut on the season premiere as well? Because it was the same. I think he had a couple drives to start the game. He had a couple threes to start the game. And then he realized, this don't count. This don't matter. And he went back into his bag. He went back into, I'm getting my middies up, getting my buckets, and I'm going home.
Yes. So I think I posted the shot chart.
Yes.
0 shots inside the paint, except for I think he got one in the second half when he started off. Yeah, I think it was he had a little layup attempt there.
Yeah.
But it was exclusively jumpers until then. And someone made the joke on Twitter where it's like, well, you wanted him to cut out the middies to increase the 3 point attempts. He just cut out the rim attempts.
I mean, the entire to be fair about the rim attempts, the entire team acted as though Steven Adams and Sengun were just monster rim defenders. Now, credit Ahmed Thompson and Dylan Brooks specifically for playing some great perimeter defense. But a lot of these shots look like settles that we're waiting for the regular season to start.
Man, just I love Amon Thompson. That guy is gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
He's just such a smart and athletic player, and there was just more than a few moments where I think it was not just him. I think the Houston was just looked far more athletic than the Pelicans. And
yes,
Houston's
yes.
not a big team, but they looked bigger and more physical than the Pelicans. I mean, there was a few drives. I mean, look, it's gonna be that way when Jose's on the ball a lot, but there were more than a few drives where Jose just had nowhere
Nowhere
to
to
go.
go.
It was completely
Yeah.
stonewalled. Um, but let's bring it back to the Pelicans. Outside of Brandon, I thought that this was a pretty good Dejounte Murray game.
Yes.
And I thought let's talk about Dejounte Murray. So 2 lobs?
Two.
Was it two? How
It was
two?
two. It was two.
Two.
He got two lives. He got the one. Everyone know about the second half, but I believe he had one in the first half as well. Um, I'm happy. He also did his thing. Shouts out to the Discord. Go to the Pelicans Discord, get an invite. And all I just saw was man, Dejounte Murray can dribble the basketball. Like that was so many people in the Discord really appreciating his handle because we didn't have that from a guard in the last couple of years.
Yes. So he has leading the Pelicans in assists this preseason. He has totaled 15 um in 3 games, and he's only playing first halves basically,
Yep.
and he only has 4 turnovers. So it's a little over 3, it's like it's almost 4 to 1 ratio there. It's like 3.75
Yep.
to 1, which is solid.
Uh,
Solid. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was gonna say 3.5 to 1 is not solid. That's amazing. That's great. My
Yeah.
barometer is normally like 2.5 to 1 is why I'd say you're a really good um playmaker. Playmaker. Sound like Glorilla. But he was 3.5 to 1. Like he's had a great. He's made great decisions with the basketball, being this team's point guard.
Yep, 7 to 1 tonight on that ratio in just 23 minutes. Finished with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Very Rondo esque
Yep.
stat line there. Not the most efficient from the field, 3 for 9. Did take three threes, but got to the free throw line, 6 free throw attempts, which
That's what
is
I was
solid.
going to talk about. That he has a low free throw rate. So when he got 6 attempts, like that's gravy. That's extra, and he can get 13 points when only taking when shooting 33% from the field. That's still good basketball. Scorers know how to get to the line and get points.
So the main thing to me that was a separator. Look, he had a couple of good passes in the first half where I liked those skip passes. Man, like you could tell, like he has a great deal of ball control, and that
Yes.
wingspan comes uh, in handy a lot. He'll turn the corner on the screen, and before you know, he's throwing a bullet to the other corner.
Yep.
Um, those were some potential assists that were left on the table. So he definitely could have had more than 7, I would say. But in the second half, they started Yves Missi. Tice didn't start, and there were several possessions where it was just Dejounte Missi pick and roll, Dejounte Missi pick and roll.
The offense
Talk to me about that.
the offense just looks so much better when there's actually gravity from the center position. When there's actually gravity, when you're running, when you have a rim runner, you can make things happen. Slow down on the Derek Lively comparisons, but you just see when a guy has one directive of take set aside a screen, draw 2 people at the rim. The offense looks so much better.
And throwing those lobs establishes that gravity, right? If you don't
Yes,
throw those lobs, then they're like, well, maybe he's just not, maybe we
but
can just
no,
converge
They
on
were
the
they were
driver.
looking for the
And
big man. They were looking for Bi found him too, so it's not just a Dejounte thing. But the offense said we're going to feed you for your effort defensively, and they found him every time, and the offense just looked so much better. Um,
yeah, I mean, look, to that point, you said the offense looked so much better. The Pelicans had an offensive rating of 117.1 when Misi was on the court, and their overall offensive rating for the game was 94.
we guess we have one center
Uh,
for 12 minutes.
do you want to know what the offensive rating when Daniel Tice was on the court?
Fire away, make me gag.
E- 80.
Oh my! That is a number. That is definitely a number. Oh,
Certainly.
something else they
Certainly.
broke out when Misi was on the court with some reserves. They broke out a zone after a timeout.
They did.
They
I don't
broke
think
out
it
a
looked that
zone.
great, but they did.
Did not look that great. Hopefully, when there are more established players who are knowledgeable, it'll work better. Because last year, shouts out to Nikai Duncan for helping me with this. They were sixth in most zone possessions, and they had a .90 points per possession while playing in zone. That's per percentage stats. So they are effective in zone. With them having no lack of big man, is probably I hope to see more of it whenever we see the starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm with you. They were like you mentioned, those are great. Shout out Nikais for sharing those numbers with us, to sharing them with Jeremy, and thanks for bringing them to the pod. Helps definitely makes our listeners more informed. I'm not sure you
Yes,
can get that
yes,
info anywhere else unless you listen to the Dunker Spot. They'll definitely have that info.
yes.
However, just let's talk about the center position just very very briefly, because we're talking about Missi here. So Missi, he had his best game of the preseason. Nine points, 4 or 5 from the floor. Only had one block, but I think that's probably selling short how many shots that he changed. He had an impact there. Picked up
Yes.
5 fouls, didn't foul out, but 18 minutes, 5 fouls, you'll take that. You will take that. My opinion is there's no need to play the foul trouble games with BC. You're not
No,
saving him for
you're
anything,
not
right? He's
exactly,
never he's
exactly.
not going to be in your closing lineups. So you should just let him play a lot of minutes that he's playing. If he picks up 4 in those 3 minutes that he's out there, then he picks up 4. It is what it is. But 18 minutes is probably the top end of the minutes I would give him on any given night.
Yep.
And picking up 5 is fine.
If you pick like we don't want to pick up the fouls, but we're not going to let the fouls deter us from getting his activity because, as we said in the first pod and the pod that we lost, he's getting better every game and he's always active. Like he has an impact. You can see it. You can feel it. You can see on the offensive end, like we talked about, but on the defensive end, he's coming to take your stuff away. Now, some of them, maybe you have to be wary of the offensive rebound because you're the only big on the court. But he is not allowed. He has an objective, and he's attacking it in ways we haven't seen here in a long time defensively.
Look, I posed a question on Twitter: is he better than Daniel Tice already? That was a little bit facetious on my part. However, I think there are some elements of truth to it just based off of the activity that we're seeing. Here's the deal. I have this sorted. I have the stat sheet pulled up. I have it sorted for defensive rebounds on the preseason. Guess who leads the team in defensive rebounds on the preseason?
You're going to tell me? Um, I'm going
Of
to say
course, I'll tell
Dejounte,
you.
but
But
I'm going to say Dejounte.
yes, that is correct. He leads the team in defensive rebounds at 13, and I'm sure you can guess who would be number 2.
Zion, he had a lot of rebounds in the first game. I'm going to say Zion.
Nope. He had a lot of offensive rebounds in the first
All right,
game.
that's right. Is it CJ? Because I know CJ has been attacking the glass.
That's close. He's number 3.
Okay,
He's
so I
number
was saying I
3.
know the guards are doing a lot. The guards are doing a lot of attacking the glass.
Yes.
Who's 2?
It's a Willie guy.
Oh, our buddy Javante Green. Hey, he gonna
Javante
play, y'all.
Green.
He gonna play, y'all. I hope y'all understand.
Yes.
He's gonna play. Shouts out to the rim that blocked him. But other than that, he's gonna play.
Dude, that was so painful. That was so painful.
He did all
Oh,
that
man.
work on the defensive end, got a clear runway to the lane, and we also what happened.
Shout out Javante Green
Shout out
for being
Javante,
second on the team
man.
in defensive rebounds. Now, if you scroll all the way down to, hold on, let me actually count this. I haven't counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th. 15th on the team with one recorded defensive rebound in all of preseason is Daniel Tice.
Oh no. Oh no. Like you gotta have some type of impact on the defensive. Like if you're not gonna be on the glass, the screening is nice, but the only reason why you're out there is the help out on the defensive end because on the glass. Because other than that, like we could have someone else to stall out there and more impactful offensively.
He
Yikes.
has 5 total rebounds. So that means he got 4 offensive,
Hmm.
5 fouls, and 4 turnovers. All of this is raw stats in the turn
Yeah.
on the preseason. So he's here's where I'm at, and I understand. Look, he's the vet, whatever. You're giving him the look, but if the Pelicans had literally any other big man on the team, nobody would argue that Tice should get a single minute of playtime. right?
Yeah, I agree. Like
So
honestly,
I'm just thinking
and
of
it's gonna
lineup
come to a
constructions
point
here. And if I don't
where
think that they will choose to start big, I think they're going to start with that wing small ball group.
yeah,
But if for whatever reason they choose to start Tice, he's not giving you rebounding. He's not giving you scoring. He's not giving you rim protection. So what and he's not even big. He's 6'8".
six
So
eight.
like what advantages are there to starting that player other than just having a traditional lineup? You know what I mean? Like it's I think there's a real conversation. Like I would be shocked, but I would be like, if they chose to start Missi on opening night, and I'd be like, you know what? I see the vision.
Yes, yeah. I was that's the point I was gonna make. I'm normally not giving young guys their minutes early. Ty goes to the runner, and the runner is a young guy. And all things all things being equal, you feel him. You feel him already on both sides of the court in ways that you just don't feel Daniel. Like it was that first game, hit all the shots. That was great. That was nice. But just I don't have to look at the numbers, just the physical impact. The hashtag eye test. You just feel him in ways that you just don't. Because with Daniel, and I would be happy to play those 15 minutes with the Rook.
He's averaging he's averaging 3 stocks per game, combined steals and blocks
Yeah,
per game.
already.
And
Like,
that's just in about, like 15, 20 minutes a game. That's it. I wouldn't argue for Messi to start. I still think they should do their best players. Just
doing,
play your
yeah,
best players.
yes, yes. But if they
Because
want,
again, yeah.
but if they want a big, I
Anyways,
would
that
agree with
was
you on that.
my little tangent on the starting position. It's just something that I think the Pelicans have unfortunately put themselves in a position for, because look, I mean, again, going back to the defensive rebounding count, they're for the preseason total, Misi plus Tice is 7 defensive rebounds, and then you add in JRE, who had 7 by himself, so it's like 14, and now you've reached the total of the Dejounte Murray. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yeah, yeah. Like,
what? And if you
why
don't
are we
count
doing this?
Jerry, you do Zion, who has less than Jerry. He has 6 by himself. It's the same. It's the same deal. These are your centers, right? And obviously Herb's not going to be a defensive rebounder. He's been solid, but that's just not his game. Brandon, that's not his game. Trey is unavailable, so it's just. Anyways, enough on the rebounding. They are going to need to win the possession battle in
Yes,
the other departments, because they will be at a significant disadvantage here.
yeah.
Uh, let's talk about some good stuff. Jordan Hawkins,
Hey, he was hot today.
he was out today.
He was hot
20
today.
points.
That's the good news. The bad news: take more threes, young man. Don't take those contested twos. Look at all the good things that happened when you took a three. You had a possession where you hit a three and got 3 free throws in like two of straight of three possessions. Like, that's where you're gonna make your money. I put in my notes, he's like Buddy Hill light. And take that however you want.
So here's a couple good things that I saw. I enjoyed how much he was moving, and
Yes.
how much he was looking to move. It was seemed like a pain in the ass to try to guard him, and I think that's a sharp change from last year, where it's like, I'll go sit in the corner.
Yes. Yes.
So that, if you want or Hawkins on the court, you want to maximize him, you got to use him like that. And if he's running around the court hitting shots like that, then them decoy actions are going to open up dunks for Messi, for Zion, for
Yeah.
whoever. Um, on the other side. Now they had a couple of scripted looks for Hawk, that I absolutely loved. I think on the first one, they essentially they had him come off a pin down, but it almost looked like a modified elevator doors,
Yeah.
the way they got in that corner three,
Hmm.
and it was. I was like, holy cow! Like, they're scheming up threes for people.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
Hey,
But
I
to
didn't
your
count
point. No, go for it.
I was like, I didn't go to the very end, but midway in the fourth quarter, they still had like a 41% 3-point rate. So they're trying. They're trying to
Yes,
get them up.
they are trying. I will, will concede that. So as you mentioned, he had six threes and then seven middies,
Hmm.
zero shots
Yes.
at the rim. And look, that's going to be Hawkins, in my opinion. His handle still isn't quite advanced enough to beat guys off the dribble reliably. He only had one turnover, which is really good because the other night I think he had three.
Yeah.
And on the pod that was not uploaded, we talked about three should never be. You should be getting a shot up. Like
Yes. Yes. That's a waste
someone
of
that
possession.
shoots as well as you do. Yeah. Um, what I will like to pump the brakes on a little bit is this is not the role that he's going to be playing with the main dudes. He's not going to be option number one, option number two, frankly. So I am a little bit curious what that looks like when everyone is available, especially when Trey is available. However, if you squint, can you see the CJ replacement for the future?
My eyes kind of wide open. I'm the last year CJ and Trey ran a Steph Curry play in Golden State, and I have envisioned that with Hawk and Trey for the longest time. So I'm not squinting. I'm hoping. Wait, hold on. Jory, we're not trying to get rid of CJ. We are just doing this as as a visual concept for years down the line. We love CJ, the president, the senator. He's awesome. Okay, but yes, I can
Yes.
squint and see it.
I'm just saying at some point or another, CJ is going to age out of this team.
Yes.
I have my opinion when that's going to be, and that opinion is February. But but it seems like there is a an issue that can be solved with Hawkins if he remains productive. And that issue is CJ on the $33 million salary and having a starting spot versus Hawkins on a $4.5 million salary and being the unconscious bench gunner that
Yes.
can blow games open. But if he's not hitting, then it's less damaging than,
Yes.
let's say, say CJ going 3 for 10 in the starting lineup. Like that is, a little bit tough to overcome. You still get
Yes.
this guy can go nuclear, which is one of the things that CJ, and CJ is always going to be more consistent, right?
Yeah.
But if you continue to add ball handlers to this team, then it diminishes like the whole like, well, CJ can get his own shot off, and you know what, Jordan in a way self creates because of how much he moves.
Yep.
It's not the traditional form of self creation, but he's getting to those like the just like how Brandon Ingram gets to his spots in the mid range, like Jordan's getting to those same spots in the mid range just in a very different way. And I wish he wouldn't take those shots as frequently as he did, but as a bench gunner, you can live with it. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
six threes in 18 minutes is still a fantastic like
Yep.
3 point attempt rate.
Hmm.
Um,
Um, I think, hey, people who don't want to see JRE, he didn't play until like all the starters rotation minutes were done. As I put in the Discord again, you guys need to hop in there. I think he's really more was the BI and Trey replacements. BI played, JRE didn't. I'm going to stick with that. I don't think he's a rotation player, guys. We shouldn't have to worry. Um,
Agreed.
other, other than that, you got anything else?
I got two more dudes that I want to talk about.
Let's go.
Just briefly. Jamal Cain balled out in the Miami game and also in
Yep,
this game in just
sure did.
6 minutes and 44 seconds, 5 points, 5 rebounds, and a block.
Another
That's Jamal Cain.
a these feisty guys who are going to cause chaos. They are Willie guys, man. They're gonna make their way into some rotation minutes.
Well, with how like porous the Pelicans defense has looked on the perimeter recently, and I think a lot of that has to do with just their lack of size out there,
Yes,
and just hey,
yes,
yeah, I get it, it's preseason, but some of it is, I think, just just not big enough units. When those Jose Hawk units are out there, or Jose CJ units are
Ooh,
out there, just when they got those two guards out there, it's just it looks like they
they're
can't stop
small.
anybody.
Yeah, they look like
Yes,
speed bumps.
I can see Jamal Cain getting a full time roster spot on this team. In the same way that Jerry went from a two way to a spot. Matt Ryan went from a two way to a spot. Najee, Jose, all them dudes.
Yeah,
Pelicans have a pretty high rate of converting. Jamal Cain, I can see it. The other guy I want to talk about is Alfred Payton.
yes,
Made
sir.
his debut in the Miami game. Dished out some 7 quick assists. I think even tonight was dishing out some assists. Dude, he deserves a shot. I don't know if that's on the Pelicans or not. He can play.
He still has NBA skills. The offense look better when he's on the court. As they say on the broadcast. Well, I was watching Miami broadcast. It's the unwillingness to shoot from deep that may be his downfall. But Alfred Payton is still Alfred Payton, and he still can go. He still can lead your offense. He still can give you 12 minutes off the bench and keep the ship afloat offensively.
Get some steals, get some
Yep,
rebounds. I
yep.
mean, he's played 2 games and he's like
He looks like an NBA
5th on the
player.
team in like defensive rebounds
Right.
already.
He looks
He's
like an
2nd on the team in assists in 2 games.
yeah, like Alfred still looks like Alfred, man. Like someone should give him a shot. Brooklyn, look,
Someone should give him a shot.
man, you know your roster. Hey, come on now. Washington Wizards, y'all know y'all roster. Give him a shot.
Yeah.
And he's all
Yeah.
things. He's a cool dude. Like I haven't heard anything from anybody, so he's gonna be a locker room presence too. Give him a shot, man.
He's a pro. Before we close out here, just I want your prediction opening night. Who are their starters? What's their starting group going to be? And I know you wanted to kind of get this off your chest about them. I'm gonna give you this space to get what you have to get off your chest because I know we talked about we're not gonna spend the whole pod
I just
just
wanted to
wailing
see
on
it.
folks.
I just wanted to see it one time. That's all. I just let me see DeJounte, CJ, Bi, Herb, and Zion. It could have just been 4 minutes in the first and 4 minutes in the third. I wouldn't have cared. Y'all didn't have to go full speed ahead. It'd have been nice. But I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see it. I don't think you're gonna be well, I don't know. I don't say I don't think you're gonna be, recreating basketball, but who knows? But I
Do you
would have
think it's
liked
gonna
to see
hinder
it.
them just cut like in the early goings like this lack of reps?
I said this about rookies. I'll say the same thing. Playing against a different jersey gives you data that you don't have, and the lack of that before opening night is like it's disappointing. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm not gonna rip the organization for what they did because plenty of organizations, teams who want to
Sell the
win,
team, move them to Seattle. Move.
teams with championship aspirations didn't give a damn about the preseason. I like we don't have to just because you saw Boston and I saw Boston with the Jays playing. I saw Sacramento make this dress rehearsal. Utah did the same thing. Some of these they don't care, man. Some of these teams don't care. They didn't do this. They didn't play well. They didn't
Even if
care
the
about
team's
all.
scared, some of the vets don't.
Don't like they didn't play well last preseason game.
Jimmy
Preseason
Butler.
it won 49 games last year. Like I said, Jimmy Butler could have been anywhere in the world, but not in Miami's arena on Sunday afternoon.
Look, as we talked about that first podcast, the Pelicans won their one
Yep,
that they
they
had
won.
to
They
win.
won. Yes, yes.
They won their one that they
And they
had to
only
win.
had three, so they
And now
really pushed it. They got it out the way.
all eyes on whatever's going to happen in the next 8 days. They're going to have a bunch of practice, and we'll see what's going on. I just before we sign off, I did hear that there's a lot of positivity on both sides with the Trey and the Pelicans. That something's about to get done. So stay tuned on that. I feel really good about it. I've heard, just over the last month or so, or throughout the summer, they've both sides have been in a good spot, and I think at this point, I'd be shocked if something wasn't done. But again, 48-hour window is kind of the
Yeah.
time where things precipitate and things start leaking and
The
breaking and all of
the
that.
the
So
the,
don't
in, the
panic if it's not tomorrow.
Yes, the NBA works on deadlines. So, as we've said all summer long, October 20th, 21st, that's around the time that you'll start hearing these leak out. We have to act like shills. So please like, subscribe, hit the bell, help us beat the algorithm so you can see us. Subscribe to the Substack so you can get this video 30 to 45 minutes before the public does. It's in the no Substack .com. Did I get that right? Um, I write on it.
In the know
Schmidt's
that
Yep,
substack.com.
there you go. We write on it. We also, if you're part of the subby, you can yeah, that's free. If you want to talk to us a little more, we have a little small pocket change Discord. We get our views and our thoughts that we don't put on Twitter. Y'all know if you notice, I've said a lot less Pelican stuff on there because I put it in the Discord now. So hit us up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this time
Go
to
ahead.
really like plug the Discord. I've purposefully not been promoting it on Twitter because I feel like it's such a good space to talk Pelicans. I'm like, I want to get out of
But
control.
we got to pimp it
Um,
here. We have to pimp it here in our spot.
we do. Look, the subby gang, as we call it,
Yep.
it's crazy. Like during games, it's popping all day. Actually, it's all day,
It's
all
all
hours.
day.
It's popping.
Yeah.
And you won't believe how smart some individuals are in there. Just the amount of like tools and resources we got to help you just understand the game and whatnot. And you
Yep.
know, sometimes we get a little scoop here,
A
there,
little
in
something,
there.
little something.
Uh,
It's worth the time. It's worth the time. It's worth the time.
yeah, appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. Jeremy, got anything to say before I hit the music?
Regular season start next week. We made it, y'all.
Let's go.